now about this scandal in the Guyana Police Force, this sex scandal, where it has been alleged that the police training academy, as they call it, right, has become a sex shop. All sort of thing going on there. And I've noted some posts, and I ain't gonna get time for going to all this afternoon, but I got to clarify some stuff, right? I saw a post from a live from Leroy Smith, Big Smith News Watch yesterday, and he'd been posting a lot of stuff about the head of SOCU and so on, and he get a lot of things wrong. So I think we have a responsibility to put things correct. Some things I can't talk because y'all might remember that the head of SOCU sued me for defamation back in 2022 or something, defamation, and the court awarded judgment and said I must pay and all that sort of thing. So I'm not gonna, the matter is in the appeal court. So I am not like I'm not gonna be lucky like Jack Dio and Nandalal and them and discuss matters that are what they call sub-judice. But there are certain things I need to clarify. First of all, they talk about the interdiction. It should be sent on administrative. There is Deputy Commissioner Karimbash should be sent on administrative leave to facilitate this investigation, because I don't know, somebody came out, Big Smith said that there's a sergeant who used to work at the college or at the academy who gave an interview with him implicating the Deputy Commissioner. Big Smith said that he sent it to the Minister of Home Affairs and he sent it to the Commissioner of Police for them to take action, right? That is what he said. Now, he went on to say, and this is what I want to correct, because he said they should send him on administrative leave. I agree that if an allegation is made and an investigation is going on, the person against whom the allegation is made, even though innocent until proven guilty, in fairness to the old system, the person should be sent off the job. The problem that we have, and this is, I hope the thing, the Commissioner of Police, the President, all of them, the Police Service Commission, if they had one, don't have the authority to send a Deputy Commissioner of Police on administrative leave. They don't, right? Because what you all recognize, the Police Service Commission deals with discipline from, well, basically, let me say, the Police Service Commission, according to the Constitution, deals with discipline, Article 212, I think it is, from inspector to assistant commissioner. In case some of you don't know the rank structure, a deputy commissioner is above an assistant commissioner. Coming from the top is commissioner, deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner, senior superintendent coming down the line. But the Constitution gives the authority to the Police Service Commission to promote and discipline ranks from inspector all the way to assistant commissioner. They can also deal with discipline for junior rank, but that is in their capacity as a disciplinary authority, not to promote, but they can deal with matter. That it pay for next thing. Let me say this. If a deputy commissioner is alleged to have committed himself, if the commissioner is alleged to have committed himself, and they want an investigation, and therefore they want him to be sent home, they have to activate Article 225 of the Constitution. Article 225 of the Constitution has to be activated. The first step in that process is for Prime Minister, the Lion Mark Phillips, to write to the person for him to show cause why he should not advise the president to form a tribunal to inquire into this allegation. That is the process. And Mark Phillips ought to know that, because when I was and CC and I were members of the Police Service Commission, he sent us 2 letters. Sent us one on the 19th of May, 2021, to say that we have him in charge for conspiracy to commit fraud. We should show cause why you should not advise the president for us to be suspended, something like that. He write. I get a copy of the letter somewhere. And then when he recognized that They're failing big on the one because the one had absolutely no legal ground to stand on. Then he wrote us a second one. And I'm going to go into that because the chancellor made some remarks a few weeks ago about the independence, budgetary independence of the judiciary. I'm going to talk about it because not only the judiciary, but the service commissions as well, right? So you got to do that. And it spells out Article 225, all the different subsections they spell out the process. The only way you can send a deputy commissioner off or the commissioner is you have to make sure that the Judicial Service Commission set up a tribunal, and not a tribal union, as the sergeant said, a tribunal. The tribunal has to inquire into whether any discipline should be taken against the reported person. Once they do that, then it's a tribunal has to recommend to the president that this person should be suspended pending the outcome of whatever inquiry or so they got to get. So let me understand. Let me get it straight. Yeah, I believe you should go off. But having said that, we know that this government shows scant regard for the Constitution. Shows scant regard. But the fact that the person is who the person is, they're going to make sure they're going to suddenly underline and they're going to suddenly remember all of these things because they don't know it. They're going to run now that slow talk about it. And they're going to want to follow the Constitution to the letter, to the T. So you ain't going no way. So with all this nastiness being circulated there, this man, and I don't know, let me say this. These people have absolutely no bloody shame. Imagine you're in a senior position. You got to pass through junior people and all them type of thing. You got to interact with junior people. And you get a big stinking scandal hanging around your head. You should go and leave, even not suspended. Take leave and park up somewhere. Take leave. The other option is that you can be asked to resign. You got to go to things. Say, well, we ain't saying that you're guilty of anything, but having regards to the seriousness of this allegation, we believe it's in the interest, your best interest, the interest of your family if you care for them, and the interest of the organization and the country that we're going to give all your benefits. We are going to give you all your benefits. Go on. Resign. Come out the force. We're going to find something for you to go and do, like how they park up Happy, and Happy is in charge of some security at the Ministry of Housing. We can give something. But to have a senior man like that still in the system with all of this that is floating around is very unhealthy for the organization. It's very unhealthy for the country. Nonetheless, they talk about Parliament and staying in Parliament. That is a stain on the organization. Nonetheless, no stain on Parliament. When Dharamlal in Parliament with the same Nadir as Speaker, they get up and tell a female member of the opposition, you want a dildo. That wasn't a stain on the Parliament. That wasn't a stain on the Parliament. You want a dildo. Or what happened? When opposition members, including Sherrod Duncan, and then object and talk, they were suspended. That is what you have. They were suspended from Parliament. But the man who made what was considered such an offensive and inappropriate outburst in Parliament during a sitting, nothing had happened to him. Nothing had happened to him. So you think these people are ordinary? But I'm saying this to say that yes, something should be done. But if I am an advocate for the rule of law, right? And I'm saying this so that you got to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing. How can you, in such a senior position, walk in there and sit down and all this type of thing, and all this thing going on, being revealed? See, Big Smith writing today that something about his Karim Bashir's association with the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, claiming that he's getting coverage from them. That is what is being said. That is what is being said. But I have more to talk about, but now let me bring in CC for him to have his say, and then we have more to talk about this thing because this is a big scandal. And we should not allow this to be swept under the carpet. PC, go ahead.
I always remember my countryman, Lincoln Lewis. He said, the strength is the nigger shame. So much scandalous thing going on about the place there. If I've been in that position, I walk away. Or I say, give me what I get from me, all my allowances and all kind of thing, and let me go out. But the thing is that the president has got to set up a tribunal, to do investigation because it's deep. A tribunal, and I want to do like what we do in Adrian Mato. We bring a dry up or maple leaf who said the police did an excellent job and who said that they should have experts to search the swimming pool and people who were properly trained to search the swimming pool, collecting money, and he go along his way. And I want the president bring you ass again, I want to erase up this whole thing. Form a tribunal, deal with it now. Deal with the situation now. Take assertive action. Take appropriate action. Let it be swift and deal with it. You can't get it hanging all about the time. You can't get it hanging. Deal with this situation and deal with it now. It's crying out for justice. It's crying out for action. It's so scandalous, that you walk down the road and you're ashamed that you were ever a member of the Guyana police force, and more so somebody who passed through the training environment. So we're saying, get a tribunal to deal with the situation and do so urgently. You can get the Judicial Service Commission to appoint people and to deal with it in accordance with the Constitution.
Now, let me say this. Again, I see some comments, somebody saying that the man had previous allegations made against him and implying that he was given a slap and nothing was done. Even Big Smith alluded to that. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to say as much as I am allowed to say about that. But in terms of the investigation, let me remind them that and it was the same PPP government, I think, under President Ramatar, when the allegation was made against Green about rape, they had people from overseas, Jamaica, I think it was, who came to assist with the investigation to make sure that a proper investigation was done. People from the Jamaican constabulary came to Guyana. We had a case too where I think it was in Antigua some years ago. An allegation was made there against a senior man. We sent the police, I think he was superintendent then, right, went there to assist with the investigation. So there's an established arrangement. And again, forget about Ross. SOCU can't investigate because it's SOCU, the man in charge. CID can't investigate. They can't do no credible investigation. I hear the talking about OPR. OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility, wasn't designed and is not configured to investigate matters of this nature. I think the man who's in charge is the superintendent. And while a superintendent can investigate a criminal matter, this goes beyond that. This goes beyond just criminal because you might venture into disciplinary breaches and all that, because you might find that many of the actions that were alleged to have been taken not necessarily full out criminal, right? And the Minister of Home Affairs, we are looking to see what action the Minister of Home Affairs will take, because according to Big Smith Newswatch, the tape from the sergeant was given to her. Or the tape. Sergeant made some allegation about the deputy commissioner's involvement, about him going there to eye up trainees and to get people to provide him. That is the allegation that was made. That is the allegation that is being made. And according to what the Big Smith Newswatch said, that is in the possession of the minister. So what are you going to do, minister? Forget about the commissioner. Commissioner can't talk. He can't do nothing. But the minister should be able to advise the government as to what action they should be taken in such a another serious allegation. Now, let me address this, a narrow part of this thing, what they're saying. Big Smith said it. See people commenting about rap on the knuckle and so on. As I said, I'm going to say as much as I'm allowed to say. Allegations were in fact made against the same person. Allegations were made. CCNI were the Police Service Commission at the time. The administration of the force referred the allegation to the Police Service Commission. The Police Service Commission, in accordance with Article 212 of the Constitution, caused an investigation to be done. That investigation was done by then Assistant Commissioner Simon McBean. Right? When the investigation was concluded and a report was submitted, there was a suggestion that maybe criminal action can be brought or departmental action. The legal advisor, the legal officer at the commission advised the commission that we should go the departmental route. Let me understand this thing clearly, because people talking all this other thing. The legal officer said, let's proceed departmentally, and we did that. He was charged 2 departmental charges under Section 4D7 for bringing discredit on the reputation of the force, where it was alleged that he made inappropriate advances to 2 female recruits. He was charged, departmental charges, 2 charge sheets. At which stage he moved to the High Court. So y'all getting things wrong. He moved to the High Court and complained that the whole process was unlawful and unconstitutional. And let me tell you all this, because this is not thing. The Attorney General's chambers, right, filed a defense on behalf of the Police Service Commission, right, the Attorney General chambers. A day or 2 before the matter was scheduled to come up in the High Court, the Attorney General chambers withdrew the defense that they had filed on behalf of the commission. So that when the matter came up, commission did not have any defense. And the judge, well, I remember very well where the officer or the lawyer from the Attorney General's chamber said that they had withdrawn the defense. And the judge questioned why. And the lawyer said they were instructed to withdraw the defense. And at which stage, we, the Police Service Commission, asked the judge for additional time to refile a defense. And that was granted. That was granted. Additional time to refile, and we refiled the defense. The matter was heard, and then the application was thrown out. In other words, he lost the case. We understand that he had appealed the matter. He appealed the matter, right? Around all this time now, up with the Service Commission. The Service Commission was unlawfully suspended, and therefore that is where the matter died. I don't even know what became of the appeal that was filed, but to say that nothing was done is not accurate. And there are more in that matter in relation to what transpired. And I referenced, or I alluded to the statement made by the acting chancellor about the financial independence of these commissions. And when she said commission, talk about the judiciary. And we're going to talk about that at some other time. I'm going to talk about that. I don't know if I'll get enough time today to talk about it. But it is not right, it's not true to say that nothing was done. We did at the commission, did that all that we were expected to do. Right? All that we could have done legally. And there's so much more into this matter that I really can't talk. I'm prevented from saying certain things. But perhaps the day will come when all of these things will be revealed. Right? We could not at the service commission. We did what we were supposed to do according to the Constitution. Right? Y'all could remember I made a report, I said repeatedly, where when I had a conversation with the president in September of 2020, when he talked about promotion for certain people. And he was then told that certain people could not be considered for promotion because they had disciplinary matters pending, right? And then you would recall too when the police, if you're there long enough, you will know when the Police Service Commission met in December of 2020 to consider the promotion, they moved to the High Court because of those same people who were not shortlisted, and then moved to the High Court just like that. The night when we met the day and we shortlisted people for further consideration, and when I got home the night, the president and I had a conversation. Somebody told me and tells the president wanted to talk to me. And I suspected right away that is promotion he wanted to talk about. So he sent me and calling me. But the discipline got the better of me. And after the person persisted, I decided to call. And the president tear off when he learned that certain people weren't shortlisted for promotion. And when I reminded him that because they had disciplinary matter spending, and one man had the commission before the court, what did they do? That was on the 23rd of December 2020. What did they do? The next day, Christmas Eve day, Ropes and Ben communicated with Appy and them for a lot of people to be charged criminally because they were shortlisted and they did not want them to get promoted. They said they must charge them criminally. And when the commission met after Christmas to finalize the thing, I think it was on the 30th of December or something like that, they moved to the High Court. Brutus and many of them moved to the High Court. They moved to the High Court and got an injunction preventing the commission from going ahead with the promotion. They did all of that. And what happened? The president then hastened when they realized that they hadn't a ghost of a chance. They had no case. The matter was before the acting Chief Justice. They had no case. So when the decision was to be handed down on the 18th of June, on the 16th of June, the president suspended all members of the commission unlawfully. The judge found that unlawfully suspended because they didn't want us to, they want certain people promoted, suspended. And we had a long legal battle, which I prevailed in, right? Long legal battle, I won at the end of the day. And what happened? They promote the same people, including Brutus, who ended up getting 262 charges, promoted them. When we, having gone through all the records, recognized that these people were not entitled based on the rules of the commission, they do their own thing. So it is not true to say, as I've said, there's a lot of stuff that I can't talk about because this matter with the lawsuit against me, the matter is in the appeal court. And I don't want to say a thing to prejudice that. So what I tell you is information that can be gleaned publicly, but some of the other stuff, I'm not at liberty to speak about this thing. I'm just saying that to tell you that the comments that have been made that pointing, including one made by Big Smith, that nothing was done, that is not so. That is not so, right? We did what the Constitution allowed us to do. And, I have been saying to many policemen, because a lot of policemen blame the Service Commission that I chaired for not promoting them. But we followed rules. And you can't compare us to people who come there lawless and following rules. For example, when promotions are made or were made, right? The first thing you have to look at is vacancies. How many vacancies exist in the particular rank structure? And then you fill those vacancies. So in many cases, you have had people who you believe were qualified, right? But because of the limited number of vacancies, they couldn't get you then. Because we followed the rules. But what happened since then? They gone through the window. So you're promoting anybody left, right, and center with no regards to vacancies and the establishment and all these type of things, right? So I have no regret for following the rules, none at all, because we were a lawful commission. So if the people come in afterward with them bishop and all them things and they're lawless, don't blame us for that. Don't blame us. And that is why they're in the shit they don't know, because of the amount of lawlessness. Everywhere is lawlessness. Let me bring in CC. Because sure he wants to have his say there too. CC, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said a whole lot, and forgive me if I repeat some of the things that you said, because I was a member of the Service Commission that you chair. And if they're talking about the Service Commission, they're also talking about me. Now, I recall the allegations made against that police officer. And we, the members of the Service Commission, not a one-man show. Paul, you could remember on I think on 2 or 3 occasions we outvoted you. It was so democratic that we outvoted you. And we decided that a investigation must be conducted. We had McBean, and he put up a report. I remember him saying, hey, this thing is criminal, but before to go recommend that you go departmental. And in discussion with our lawyer for the Constitution, say, go departmental. And that's what we did. And lo and behold, the officer took us to court. And people might know, lawyers who represented the Attorney General Chambers were part of his team, his legal team. We applied to the Attorney General to defend us, and they quoted some case law from the CCJ that the Attorney General cannot represent those constitutional bodies. When we ask for money, they say we didn't get no money. Leave us actually on our own. And when we apply for funding through another source, they say that we acted unconstitutional. But getting back to the case, officer took us to court and he lost the case. He lost the case. And we say, proceed. And lo and behold, we ended up being suspended, being unconstitutionally suspended by the president. Remember, Justice Gino Prasad says action was unlawful, illegal, null and void, and of no legal effect. And that's how we found ourselves. We were suspended, our term finished after this unit suspension, and that officer was promoted twice. But come back to the matter is that it is unfair to say that the Service Commission didn't take any action. We did what we had to do in accordance with the Constitution, in accordance to law. We cover all the legal issues. And because of our actions, we were suspended. Because the president wanted young people promoted. And because we ain't promoting them, they find some unlawful ways or means of suspending us. So to say, I repeat myself, to say that this commission under which I serve, under which Paul, you chair, didn't do anything, it is complete fabrication and total distortion of facts.
Now, let me, as Mr. Conway mentioned something there, and I think I need to clarify. Remember, not clarify, but I need to expand, because remember, I said earlier, the acting chancellor made a statement recently. I'm not going to read, it's a short thing. Speaker, I quote, Chancellor George said, quote, most importantly, I reiterate, the judiciary looks forward to full compliance with Article 122A of the Constitution of Guyana, it being a fully self-accounting entity which manages its technical processes regarding how its budgetary allocations is spent. Therefore, full implementation of the fiscal management provisions is necessary to fulfill the constitutional mandate and retain a leadership in this regard. End of quote. Article 122.2 of the Constitution says, quote, subject to the provisions of Article 199 and 201, all courts should be administratively autonomous and shall be funded by a direct charge upon the consolidated fund, and such courts shall operate in accordance with the principles of sound financial and administrative management, end of quote. Now I read that to say, because the Chancellor acted was referring to the courts, but we found ourselves in a similar situation in terms of not having management of the financial budget in the Police Service Commission. And if you listen, not Thursday gone, a few Thursdays ago, former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan, I have advised and I've encouraged you on Thursday on Camps TV to listen if you want to understand the financial system and all of that. He made the point, because when the coalition was in government, what they did, they amended the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act to allow for the judiciary and the constitutional bodies to manage whatever budgetary allocation was given to them. When the government, when PPP came to power in 2020, in 2021, I think it was, they amended the legislation. They changed it back to the old thing where these bodies now couldn't manage their own finances. So Mr. Conway made the point that when, and I told you too, that when the matter went to court, when the officer took the matter to court, the Attorney General Chambers initially put in a defense, and then they withdrew the defense. They were not wrong in terms of the legal principle, because then they quoted Brent Griffith versus Gaisuku. I think that's the case. Lawyers can remember that. Brent Griffith versus Gaisuku, where it was held by the CCJ that the Attorney General's chambers cannot represent constitutional and I think semi-government, something like that. So therefore, the Attorney General chamber could not represent the Police Service Commission. But what they did is the manner in which they did it. They never alerted the commission. It's when the commission turned up and said, well, we rejoined the defense. And then we had to hustle now to file a defense. Now, after that was done, the commission met and we decided that we're going to seek the services of some reputable attorney, perhaps a senior counsel, to represent the commission. When the secretary, Jaigoben Jai Singh, right, was approached in terms of finances, he said that there was no budgetary allocation to retain counsel to defend the Police Service Commission. At which stage he was instructed to write to the Ministry of Finance to get the necessary finances. He did so. When he wrote to the Ministry of Finance, the Finance Ministry wrote back to instruct the Police Service Commission that they must allow the Attorney General's chambers to represent the commission, as happened in the past. So the Attorney General chamber legally could not represent the Service Commission. So when we sought to get money from the government, the Ministry of Finance, they are now instructing the Police Service Commission, a constitutional body, go back to the AG, right? Go back to the AG. So in other words, they weren't providing any support for us to go after this matter. And then what happened? What happened then? Ganesh Maipal decided to challenge the constitutionality of the amendment to the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act. We were made aware of that. The Police Service Commission, along with other commissions, were told. And we decided that we were going to join that challenge because we were directly affected. So we joined the challenge. And what did they do? They used the fact that the Police Service Commission joined the challenge to get Mark Phillips to write to all members of the Police Service Commission for us to show cause why he should not advise the president to have us suspended because we joined in challenging the the constitutionality of the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act. That's what they did. All members he wrote to. That's what he wrote first, as I said, to me and Conway, because we were charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. And about 2 weeks after, he wrote again, and this time to all members of the commission. And it was because we joined with Ganesh Maipal and other members with politicians to challenge. And then they talk about all sort of crap, Nandalal. The documents are there, you know. They're all there. And hear this part. Hear this part. The Police Service Commission was not the only commission that joined the action by Maipal. The Teaching Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, they all joined. They all joined. But they targeted the Police Service Commission. And why? Because we had not acceded to the request or the demand or the wishes of the president to promote certain people. So they came after us. They never sought to suspend the Teaching Service Commission or the Public Service Commission. Never. Never. So when y'all, again, as I've said this, I said over and over, when I say it, is that you see a lot of people are not here or were not here from the beginning. So a lot of things. So as someone who's, you know, methods of instruction, many times you got to go back to refresh and to remind people, right? You have to go back and refresh and remind people. So therefore, to blame the Police Service Commission for that particular matter is unfair, because we did what we had to do in the face of all the obstacles and challenges by the government, including suspension, including criminal charges. And in my case, some of these things are still pending, right? Including lawsuits. Brutus and Karimbash filed lawsuits against me. All of those things. You think they're easy? And when you look at to see who were the liars and look at the connection, you can see exactly where it was coming from. And let me give you all this too. You think it is? Somebody tell him us right. I will write. Do you know? The Police Service Commission met on the 23rd of December, 2020 for consider promotions and so on. Right? 2020, 23rd of December. Like a week before the 23rd of December, even before the Police Service Commission met to consider the promotion, Brutus and several officers, like the one in Bobby's and many of them, caused lawyers' letter to be sent to the Police Service Commission, Jupiter and all of them, to say that basically, I get copies. They are aware that the Police Service Commission will be meeting to discuss promotion, but they know that they had disciplinary matters pending, and therefore they made a demand, right, that no promotion should take place until the disciplinary matters, their disciplinary matters were concluded. They wrote us liar's letter and threatened that should the Police Service Commission go ahead and make the promotion without the conclusion of their disciplinary matters, they're going to move to the High Court. And they did just that. They moved to the High Court. And when they moved to the High Court, early 2021, the matter came up before the Chief Justice. Nonetheless, at the first hearing, said that the thing looked bad. I don't know, you know the thing that's looked bad, and wanted an opportunity to speak to the parties and all of that. And then they wanted to make demand. I said, I ain't playing the game, a blackmail game. I said, if I made the point clear, because the commission met, and I told them, I said, let me understand this. If they want any type of discussion, they must withdraw the lawsuit, the court matter. You can't get court matter, get gun on the head, and then you want to negotiate. We are named Skinny. Skinny was shoot himself last week. Sunday, they put in gun to the head and playing the game. Me, I'm playing that game. I made it clear. I remember well, because when the first meeting was scheduled with the Attorney General and the Commission, I was traveling. I think I was in Bangladesh or somewhere. I had to wake up early morning to get into Zoom. And I think that was the first time, if you hear of the man buttering me, me just cricket and da. Trying to buttering me. Why ain't taking buttering? They don't learn. They don't learn, because Irfan attempted to butter me up too. I ain't taking no buttering. I ain't there, sir. Right? So we got to understand. And sometimes we don't blame you all, you know. We don't blame the public, because the thing is, a lot of these things are not known. And this government good at propaganda. They push out one narrative, they push out, and people run with that. And that is why we're going to use this platform to let people know what the truth is. We're going to use this platform to let people know what is the truth, the old truth, and nothing but the truth. Then we're going to deal with the facts, and the facts are stubborn things. And let me tell you this, before I bring in CC, again, let me tell you this. You see all of these things I'm talking about? I have documentation to support. The letters that were written to the Police Service Commission, all those letters, the promotion, the discussion, and all who got promoted, again, when the promotions were made in June of 2021, after the Chief Justice threw out the challenge brought by Brutus and them on the 28th of June 2021, and the Police Service Commission released the promotion that was held up since December, right? Nandalal went and the program issues in the news. You just run up on a Tuesday night. And they said that the government will not recognize the promotions. The letters are there. Even the letter at the time the Service Commission was represented by Selwyn Peters, my friend from Canada. Y'all could say what y'all want to say, but Selwyn will remain my friend, because when the Service Commission was in need, Selwyn is the man who came and gallantly challenged the army of lawyers from the government and won. He had Dexter Smart and Dexter Todd at the side afterward. So I could say what you want to say. I have never been known to be ungrateful. I don't agree with all of his politics, and he knows that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be ungrateful. He is the man. And I have all the documentation. You know, let me tell you all this. Right, let me light up your Friday afternoon. When Mark Phillips wrote us the first letter on the 19th of May 2021, for us to show cause why he should not advise. This is me and Conway. And Selwyn Sidang, I mean, this team there, Toby King, I think the guy named, a guy from Canada and so on. And the reply that was sent to Mark Phillips, 500 and something pages, 500 and something pages were sent to Mark Phillips in response to that nonsense letter that he sent to us, 500. And then when he sent another letter to us 2 weeks after, he got another 200 and something, right? He got another 200 and something pages in the letter. So yeah, we did quite a lot. And as I said, the documentation, the receipts are there. And if you note, a lot of these things, the dates and so I'm not referring to no notes, you know. I get them in the computer. They are indelibly imprinted in this computer here, right? The dates and so on, and all the incidents. And I will write, because I want to make sure they have a way now of rewriting history, you know. And if you don't document it, they're going to come and they're going to say, this other thing, and then a little bit down the road next couple of years, they know who is slow, they know who's Conway, they don't know the contributions that they made and all of that, because they're going to rewrite them, right? But we are not allowing that. I am going to document. I promise a long time to have it done. And that is one of the things I want to get started this year. Start to document all of these things. I just got to pull the files and so on together and give so that people can understand, right? And I say this to say that when people make comment, including Big Smith, I have nothing against him, but he make the comment that suggesting that nothing was done when previous allegations were made and so on. That is not true. Government, the same government, intervened to save their boys and their people. That is what they did, right? Right? Yeah, Selwyn, I'm glad you comment. Selwyn is saying here that I got robust representation in the same way the current clients are. Glad he was in my corner and we succeeded. And I thank you, and I will continue to thank you for it. And I must add, I hope you're not offended by that. Pro bono, Selwyn represented the Police Service Commission. Initially, he represented me because we go a long way back. Selwyn was a police, 13286 or something was the number, was a little by at the TSU when I been there back in the day. And when I encounter the legal trouble and so on, he is a person who I reached out to in Canada. I reached out to him and he willingly agreed that he was going to assist me. And then later on, and that was before all members were involved. And then later on, when all members of the Police Service Commission were then involved with this letter, he agreed to take on, to represent the entire commission, and he did not charge a cent. I know they're going to affect taxes as well. He did not charge a cent. So you could say what you want to say, that you drink the Kool-Aid, and say what you want to say. I will forever, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of the other members of the Police Service Commission, we will forever be grateful for the representation that Mr. Selwyn Peters gave us in that matter. Let me bring in CC. CC?
Quite a mouthful. And let me join you also in saying I'm grateful for the work Selwyn did in terms of representing the Police Service Commission. But I want to make a point before I close off, is that several persons, several officers who were promoted immediately after we were suspended had disciplinary matter pending, and the matters were not dealt with. Brutus get promoted. Prem Narayan get promoted at triple jumper, moved from inspector to superintendent with no known outstanding performance as a policeman. Chevron Jupiter, Lady Jupiter get promoted and she had disciplinary matter. Chief Prasad Bacchus, who in Borbis, a place where, so much things happening. Karen Bash get promoted, and I go over the list, and I can go in details because I know the files, I know the charges. So it's saying that they according to the public service rules, the Police Service Commission rules, that if you have a disciplinary matter pending, you cannot be promoted until the matter has been dealt with. And here we have people like Brutus, people like Prem Narayan, people like Chevron Jupiter, people like Chief Prasad Bacchus, people like Karen Bash. They were all promoted and a rapid promotion and holding senior position in the Guyana police force. Double standard. They promote the boys and promote the girl.
Well, let me say this, because I know what can be the reply. The Police Service Commission under the same man was Bishop, wrote to them to say that the matters against them were dismissed. Right? You can't dismiss a matter unless there's a trial. Let me understand this thing clearly. So they get people, they had a lawyer, Mark Conway, who died over a year now on the thing. So I don't know what type of advice they were given. You cannot dismiss a charge unless there was a trial. Maybe you would want to discontinue the matter, which perhaps they would have had the authority to do. But you can't dismiss. Dismiss means that you would have got to a trial and the tribunal or whoever inquired into the matter feel that given the evidence that came out, dismiss. But they said that dismiss the charge against those same persons that Mr. Conway named. Unlawful, illegal, you can't dismiss unless there's a trial, right? So the whole process, and that is part of the problem you have now in the force. These people that they have in certain offices, including the people who are the Police Service Commission, they're just widely, they don't know what's going on. They know. They just do what the government wants them to do. So that's why you see in many occasions, they promote people who left the work, all sort of thing. People who are no longer in the force, they promote because of the rush. And let me remind you all that when the promotion was made in 2022, right? Well, they had the anniversary service, and when they brackle, that's a countryman word, when they brackle the chairman of the Police Service Commission of promotion, he said, no, we are not going to we are not got to the stage yet. We have got to examine files and so on. And the next day, they promote 250 something people. And why? Why? I had approached my lawyers, and we had said that given the fact that we had this matter pending because they had refused to recognize, and up to now, they have not recognized many of the promotions that were made, up to now. They have not recognized it. So we say, well, let's go to court and challenge it and seek to have an injunction to prevent this new commission from making any promotion until that matter was resolved. The mistake that was made, I am blaming the liars and so on, but the place in Ghana a little slothful. So they went there, I think it was a Friday, the last Friday in June. They went. And the Saturday code don't work, the Sunday code don't work, and the first Monday in July, CARICOM Day, was a public holiday. So when the thing was served, when the code document was served on them on the Friday, they were instructed to run ahead and make the promotion over the weekend before the court can say anything on the Tuesday. So that's why they run out at breakneck speed and they made the promotion. And then they were so anxious to make the promotion. People who left the work, people do all sort of thing, they promote. They did all of that. So you have to understand the context in this thing. We got a couple of minutes more. Let's bring in CC and if he has any final say. CC, any final say?
Yeah, I remember those promotions, I remember them very, very clearly. And I remember the chairman of the Police Service Commission then, Bishop Finley, the same Big Smith Tackley, or let me use the word Brackley, at the Police Service, University Service, and asked him about promotion. And he said that the Service Commission was waiting on the list of recommendations from the commissioner before promoted. And the very next day, that Service Commission that he had as chairman there promoted 250 something persons, including Premnaran and Jupiter and Bacchus and Karimbash and all of them promoted them. So today I waiting on the list, and tomorrow I promoted 200 and something people. How you could get due diligence? How could you check records and all kind of thing? That's why they promoted people who left the work. They promoted one